Hello everybody, Louise Edington, Cosmic Owl of Cosmic Owl Astrology with the week ahead forecast for the week beginning Sunday, January the 26th, 2025. And it's another good week ahead, or powerful week, should I say, or good, well, everything, all of it. So let me share the chart and just kind of sum up where we begin the week. So we begin the week with this moon finishing its journey in the sign of Sagittarius and squaring the moon's nodes for the first time since they have moved back into, I think it's the first time. Maybe they squared from over here. But anyway, they're going to square the nodes. They're going to square all of the moon's going to square Neptune, the moon is going to square Venus, as these three all head close together. And I did a whole video on the Neptune North Node conjunction, which all this three together is just so powerful. But anyway, back to where we start. So yeah, the nodes are now solidly in Virgo and Pisces if we use the true calculation. If we use the mean calculation, I'm just going to, Zoom keeps having these pop-ups now. It's really kind of annoying. But anyway, the mean calculation, you can see, is still at 0 Aries. And so as I have nodes that switch between 0 Aries and 29 Pisces Virgo with you when you switch. So true 0 Aries South Node, mean 29 Pisces South Node. I'm feeling this big time, but basically they have pretty much shifted. So we're feeling this really big shift into the Pisces Virgo axis, which I'll keep talking about ad infinitum. Mars is still retrograde. Mars is still out of bounds. The moon is out of bounds for most of this week and will actually go in bounds. Oh my goodness. Oh, here it is. I've got too many. I'm so much going on in my head. The moon will go back. In fact, no, the moon goes out of bounds at, oh no, it is out of bounds. And the moon will not go back in bounds until January the 28th at 8:35 p.m. Eastern, and will reach its peak out of bounds this morning, January the 26th, from 5:31 a.m. to 11:09 a.m. So we start the week on a high because we're at that lunar maximum. The moon is way out of bounds, reaches its maximum point at those times, and this is huge. So everything is really kind of again heightened, as if you did not know. I'm actually just going to take, I'm going to leave this is asteroid Icarus. We looked at that with Kathy and Andy, and so I just feel like maybe you're meant to be there. But a reminder that really I do only look at the main planets and so on with these. But I am going to add in the asteroids so you can see them. And I'm not going to add in the other centaurs today, except I might add in Nessus at least. But one other pattern I want you to notice as we head into a new week, and the week where we have the Aquarius new moon, I did a whole video on that, is that we have this trapeze pattern. So we have Pallas Athena, the wise warrior and daughter of Jupiter or Zeus, who is born fully armed, sword in hand, ready to take on, the world. But she was the patron saint, patron goddess of art and so on as well. But she's a very strategic energy. Pallas Athena is very much associated with seeing patterns and creating strategies. That's why she's associated with astrologers and astrology quite a lot as well. So, but we start the week with Mars retrograde opposing the justice warrior, with all of this energy all contained in this side of the chart, in this trapeze pattern. So Mars still in orb of the sextile with Uranus, which is probably going to bring out some big surprises this weekend, and Pallas Athena in a sextile still with Venus in Pisces, and Venus and Uranus in a sextile too. So we've got some big surprises coming out of the shadows, some secrets and some strategies to move forward. But that's kind of where we start the week. I think that's all I want to say. No, I'm actually going to point out one other thing. The sun is at 6 Aquarius at the start of the week, and that is the south node of the USA. So, clearly the USA is right in it at the moment, but of course it's all connected, as we keep trying to show on the political videos, but I'm not going to get into politics now. But as we start the week, the first aspect of the day on the 26th is that the moon will come up to the galactic center and square Neptune. New information, new truths again, diving in. Neptune is still at the degree it's stationed direct at ages ago. It's been at 27 Pisces just for an age. And 2 plus 7 is a very yin number, but it's also a 9 and endings. So this is what's coming out is really bringing an ending to something, okay? But I don't usually look at lunar aspects, but I felt like I had to look at that one. So then later in the day, Mars and Pallas Athena face each other off. It's almost as if Pallas Athena is facing down retrograde Mars and out of bounds Mars and saying, you need to act differently and become the protector guardian. I'm telling you now, you need to uphold our basis of security and rules and not, go me first, okay, and be in fight warrior mode. That's how I could put that one. Then at 1:32 p.m, Mercury, finishing up in Capricorn, will actually sextile Neptune. So we started with the moon there. Mercury's going to join it as well. So this is both kind of some spiritually uplifting thoughts, some creative thoughts, but also some news emerging from the shadows. And then lastly, we have Venus here making the exact sextile with Uranus. And Uranus is at the degree that Venus and Uranus last met. And Venus is in a very strong position in Pisces. I do not see her being between the node and Saturn as being besieged at all. I think she is being called to her higher self and to that energy of compassion and love as she approaches these things. And as I've mentioned before, I think she is really emulated in the words of Marianne Bobby Bishop, Buddha. Marianne Buddha, Bishop Buddha. Now, Buddha, the name Buddha for a start. Marianne is a version of Mary, by the way, like the Magdalene, Mother Mary, and that is Venus. It's almost like, that person, the bishop, was just channeling this divine feminine energy of compassion, mercy, peace, love, all these things that we are being called towards as all of these come closer together. It's just beautiful. And then I find out she was born 4 days before me. So we share a lot of the energies. So I don't know what to make of that, really. I hope I'm emulating her in some ways. I'm sure, she seems a better person than me in many ways, but whatever. Anyway, another day. So I just, gosh, somehow I was about to move on 165 days there because I had been doing my Neptune video. Anyway, on to Monday, the 27th. And look at this building now, that we still have a bit of this trapeze, but now we have a kite forming with all these aspects as well. This is a bit out of sign, but Mercury's activating it, coming to this. Sedna's not going to quite dip back into Taurus, but it is a very earth watery energy of a kite. So bringing in that divine feminine energy again, and it's all pointing at this. It's amazing. So on January the 27th at 5 p.m, Chiron, he's been a little bit quiet lately. Here he is, still at 19 degrees. It's been at that degree forever, more than once. And Chiron is sextile to Ceres. Ceres, it needs met and unmet, also some grief and loss, but this is a supportive aspect in fire and air. Whatever awakening thoughts and healing thoughts and big picture things that you can see about action taken or that you can take is going to be of a very supportive opportunity nature. It's really going to be a big weekend, right? And moving into Monday as well, in a lot of ways personally, but of course if you have aspects, placements around those degrees, you'll feel it more. And the moon, meanwhile, will move up to 19 degrees Capricorn and square Chiron right after that as well. So, the Capricorn moon is very determined to set up boundaries, very determined to build something and to achieve, but also to have that wisdom of the elder. So, what powerful times. Then at 9:52 p.m, the Mercury will move into the sign of Aquarius. And Mercury loves air signs and ideas and information and big picture and pulling the pieces together is going to be massive once Mercury moves into Aquarius. It's like the ideas are going to come thick and fast, and pulling those pieces together and seeing the bigger picture, and you'll feel more liberated and free for the future, or at least your mind will feel liberated and free in the sign of Aquarius, to think outside the box and to be more quirky and to see things a little bit out of the norm, right? So, and of course the moon still out of bounds, because the moon is out of bounds until the 28th. On to the 28th. On the 28th, there is an aspect between Sun and Vesta. And I knew I needed to leave Icarus in there, because the Sun will get to 9 Aquarius on the 28th, because I'm starting really early in the morning here. And they will both square Vesta, which is both your inner sacred flame, deep down at your root in Scorpio, deeply empowered, lifting up, taking a stand. But Vesta is also about the state and the hearth of the state. And in Scorpio, it's about power and manipulation. And Icarus is like flying too close to the sun, which is what I've called the latest video that Kathy and Andy I did. For you, if you've flown too close to the sun, or been out of integrity, or not made sure that you are putting everything firmly in place before you fly, something might kind of give a little. It's going to affect everybody differently. Of course, this is not just everybody's going to fall from grace, but you might have some inner awarenesses about where you've maybe just gone a little bit too close to rise up, so that you might downfly, or you've gone too far beyond the bounds, let's say, as well. That's another way of putting it. And by the time the Sun squares Vesta, though, of course, the Moon will finally be into Aquarius and back in bounds. The Moon enters the sign of Aquarius at 2:31 p.m. and around 8:03 p.m. So right after this, or as this aspect is happening, the Sun square Vesta with Icarus there, the Moon will go back in bounds. It's like pulling you back down to Earth. Okay, you might go flying a little bit high, but that's, sometimes we do, right? Okay, on to the 29th. And this is the day of the new moon. I've done a whole new moon video. And the new moon is at 9 Aquarius conjunct Icarus. So more of that. But before we look at that, and the Mercury on the same day as the new moon will meet Pluto. So some deep reveals, I think, of shadow. Pluto tends to be the excavator of crap, things that need to be disposed of. It brings stuff to light that are just in the shadows, and Pluto rules like sewers and I would say like mobster kind of things and so on. No comment, Louise. And Mercury is going to bring more of that to light in the sign of Aquarius, because Aquarius is a big air sign and is like, it does like shine the light on the bigger picture. If you think of the Aquarian card in the tarot, it's the star card, so it's bringing messages down from up there as well. And then we have the new moon at 7:35 a.m. and that is conjunct asteroid Icarus, but I'm not going to go any more into that. But then early on the 30th, right after the new moon, Uranus will station direct, and Uranus is the guide, the modern guide for this new moon. But not only that, Saturn is the traditional guide for this new moon, and Saturn is approaching Nessus, who reveals abuses of power out of the shadows in Pisces. And Saturn is, you're going to bring some real clarity, I think, around this new moon. Uranus brings some radical change when it changes direction. It can often be like big aha moments. It can seem like a little bit of a wrecking ball depending on where your chart is. How you respond is always what matters, but you may hear something that kind of rattles your cage a little bit, but how you respond to that is what matters. This is a powerful new moon. And again, we're at lunar maximum, so everything is powerful at the moment. Right after Uranus stations direct at 11:22 a.m. on the 30th, the Venus over here will trine Juno, the queen of the gods and Jupiter's wife, and she was the goddess of women and children, the patron of women and children. She was that kind of very goddessly figure, but she was a powerful goddess. And in Scorpio, her deep power is coming out. This is kind of like, become your own queen, if you like, or become your put your crown on. I love that this her symbol is almost like a crown or a flower on the cross of matter. It's like saying, put your personal crown on and shine. And here's Venus as well, which is the circle of spirit and the cross of matter. So and then later that day, January the 30th, 5:30 p.m. Oh, another one missing. I'm going to have to add this because I wrote the whole article about Haumea and Pluto squaring. And of course, they are heading towards another square, 13 between 22 and 2028. We're 2025 now, so we're more than halfway through. But Haumea is going to station retrograde, and Pluto and Haumea are going to start moving towards each other. And these two are really working together to birth the new paradigm, to birth the future, to birth the new structures, as are the other outer planets. But these two are kind of right in the muck of it at the moment. Haumea has been described as very much Pluto-like, but without the destruction, without the kind of that destruction to restructure or dismemberment to remember. She is pure creation and birthing. But of course, birthing isn't always clean and easy. It can be very messy. So just saying she's going to station retrograde. So we're kind of, churning. This is hard. This birthing of this new energy is hard, but it is happening. Okay. And then the moon will move into Pisces after this at 5:52 p.m. for a couple of days. And then the sun, the new, the sun just right after the new moon, late on the 30th, will come up and trine Jupiter with, that's really flying too close to the sun with Icarus. But this is, I think as well, though, this can be like these big ideas or big news or seeing where something has flown too close to the sun, so to speak, and suddenly being aware. It may be aware of others, not just yourself. It's just, where something has gone way beyond the bounds, and so, like clarity, mental clarity around this. Okay, on to the 31st. Friday, Venus Day, woohoo! And Venus will square the galactic center on that day. So the galactic center is over here at 27 Sagittarius, and Venus is just heading into the zone of a conjunction with, look at how close they are by the Friday on Venus Day. And again, Venus is said to be exalted in the sign of Pisces, but also we've got the moon now joining the picture, and the moon will pass Saturn at 11:09 p.m. that night, and that at that point, and Nessus, and at that point the moon, the feminine, Venus the feminine, Neptune also feminine, I would say as well, but well, whatever that means, but that kind of emotional, spiritual kind of energy. Moon, Venus, Neptune, all coming up to the North Node. Whoa, powerful, powerful. And then, so yeah, on to, wow, just Saturday, next Saturday. And it's just, wow. Okay, so first, on Saturday the 1st, though, we do have a lovely conjunction between, and I'm going to have to add another of my main asteroids that I don't normally talk about on these reports, but they're really kind of active right now. So here we have Vesta and Hecate, the inner flame and the flame torch holder at the crossroads, squaring off to Icarus, saying, hey, look, you've gone too far out there and come back. But also this could be said to be the divine feminine saying the divine masculine has gone way too far out of bounds. All right, so to know, I will say no more. Then at 9:14 a.m., as we approach the big events, Pallas Athena, again, that wise warrior, will square off to Eris, the table turner and truth teller. And, they're going to say, no, this is not on. We're not doing this. We are going to bring justice, and we are going to petrify the patriarchy, so to speak, because Pallas Athena had Medusa on her shield. And so freeze them out. We're not doing this. Then at 11:33 a.m., it really kicks off because the moon conjuncts Neptune exactly at 11:33 a.m. Then Venus moves towards the North Node at 28 degrees 09 minutes, which is also the point Neptune will meet the North Node on February the 4th, exactly, and Venus will meet the North Node. So I'm actually just going to get that exact for you. That beginning of February is just going to be a time of real kind of revelation, but also of inner revelation. A lot of people will feel like they're having this massive kind of spiritual awakening, for want of a better word. Lots of big awarenesses around love, compassion. I do hope it doesn't take anything, because the shadow of Pisces can be suffering and can also be a sense of loss. So I do hope it doesn't take anything big for people to see it, but maybe just these churning of these bills and these things that these oligarchs and autocrats are doing will wake people up. I actually went in the post office earlier today, and the woman in the post office, I go in regularly for various things, and it was empty, so I think she felt more able to speak, and we ended up having a conversation about this situation and about the post office. Started, you know, with the Trump appointed postmaster who's wrecking the post office, and then she started going down, you know, the rant of how could anybody vote for this, and look what he's doing, and I was like, maybe it takes this to wake people up. You know, people are starting to realize the find out phase, if you like, of FAFO, because I also saw a thing, and I posted it on Blue Sky, of a guy saying, we moved, my wife got this job, we moved here, we did all this, we upended our lives, and now she's out of work. We did it for her job. And he's still in, this person was still in the, I'm sure this was unintended consequences, but no. This is going to happen to so many people. Thousands have already lost their jobs this week. I think it'll be reversed. But at the moment, people are terrified and finding out that whatever's going on is, you know, Constitution has been taken down off the White House site. This is a wrecking ball. Uranus station as well, and I just think the find out stage is the big grief and awakening that people are going to experience as we turn it around, and I think we will. Okay, for multiple reasons. And as you can see, really all of this is in aspect to Juno, sacred contracts with each other, not just women and children, it's all relationships. Hygeia, the healer, the holistic healer, is also in an aspect of adjustment to the South Node, which is at its healthiest, is about doing meaningful right work or stepping into that real high priestess energy. This is such a powerful, powerful end to the week. I'm not going to go into the next week as I often do, because this is just mind blowing. But I do want to show you, and I've showed you also on the full video about Neptune conjunct the North Node, is that on it's actually February the 7th. They meet, it's still at 28 degrees 9 minutes. And then Venus is at the point of her next star point that I'll be looking at in detail in my Venus retrograde class. This is just amazing energies, guys, amazing. So I'm not going to pull a tarot. Sometimes different decks speak to me, right? And because of this big conjunction at the North Node in Pisces, in which is the rise of the Divine Feminine, I have to pull cards from the Divine Feminine Oracle Guidebook by Megan Watterson. So I'm for this week ahead, Let's see what the Divine Feminine Oracle has to say for you. I'm only going to pull one, and I'm going to read the full text from the book. Unless two drop out, we'll see. Just one. Oh. Okay. We got Lilith, the first woman. I am the voice of my body and soul. I choose the life that I desire to live. The first woman. Oh my God. Is that could there be a bigger kind of idea that, the Divine Feminine is rising? So I think these are in alphabetical order. So let me find what the book says for all of it. Oh, no, of course they're not. Oh, she does have a they're not numbered. I do remember now that this was a bit of a problem with this deck. Okay, okay, here we are, page 142. It's Lilith. Lilith embodies our sovereignty. I'm laughing because, oh, never mind, you don't need to do that. Or our autonomy or our agency. To declare our desires and do what must be done in order to live them out. According to Jewish folklore, Lilith was Adam's first wife. She was created from the same earth as Adam, so when he expected her to be subservient to him, she refused. Lilith explained to Adam that they were equal, made by God. So when Adam insisted on her submission, Lilith uttered the divine names and flew away. Supposedly Adam sent angels after her to force her to return, but she was with the archangel Samael, and she desired to remain with him. Ancient Jewish midrash, or retellings of biblical stories, portray Lilith as a demon, but contemporary feminist theologians like Judith Plaskow have incorporated women's experience and women's voices into traditional texts with their own midrash. Plaskow transforms the fearsome, vilified Lilith into a wise, empowered woman. Lilith embodies the emotional and spiritual aspects of our unconscious or unrealized desires, sensuality, and unbridled sexuality. She owns her body and soul completely. For many women, Lilith is an icon of freedom. Lilith is the first woman. She is the woman who refused to be dominated or defined by anyone or anything outside of her. So there are some. So Lilith is saying, I am the voice of my body and soul. I choose the life that I desire to live. That's what's written on the card. That's you cannot make this stuff up. Have an amazing week. I promise you this is going to change fast. All of what's happening in this world right now. Things are about to really reach this tipping point, and by March everything's going to look so different. I love you.